Hello, this is Telmir and welcome to another repair video. In this video, we are working on an iPhone 14 and you can clearly see it is super bashed up. Not just the back, but also the screen as well. It is truly borked. So we gotta go ahead and replace that back glass, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. The screen is also pretty straightforward to do, so I'm not going to focus too much on that, since I do believe I've done a screen replacement in the past before on one of these and showed you how to do it. So let's get on in. So what we got to do is we have to heat this up with a heat gun. You can't put this onto a heating mat or heat plate because of the camera bump. Unfortunately, I would love to put it on the heating mat. It would make it so much easier. But what I like to do first is just heat up the entire phone, go over for a little bit, and then once it's more or less up to temperature, I'm not talking about extremely hot, but somewhat, the way it's absorbing less heat when you're working on the bottom of the phone, then you switch to just one spot and you start heating that up so you can peel this away. With this particular one, the frame, it's not going to come away from the frame very well, this back cover, just because the glass is so badly shattered. The only way to get into this, as far as I can tell from my methods in the past, so you have to go in with a razor blade. This is just a chisel blade. You get yourself in there, get it started, and then you'll be in business. So you see there, I'm already in. It wouldn't be a bad idea, actually I'm going to do that, to wear some safety glasses, because the glass at this point is so badly shattered. Might be an okay idea to use gloves as well. I'm not going to because I just don't feel like it's necessary, but if you're worried about shards of glass, just wearing some latex gloves or something like that would definitely help a little bit, at least, to prevent little slivers of glass getting into your fingers. There is a plate of metal across the entire back of this back glass, and you can use that to help you leverage this up as you go, and it really does help you get through this a little bit faster. There's going to be glass all over your desk from this, so it helps if you have something like a mat like this to contain the glass shards, or you can put down a couple pieces of paper towel, and that works pretty good too, actually. You can put down some alcohol also along there, and this will help loosen up the glue behind the little glass shards along here. This, you can see clearly, is splitting already away from it, which is not really preferable. Can't do really a whole lot about it though. There you go. You see the clips coming up on the right side there? I'm just levering against it, and it's pulling up the clips right through the glass. Now once I get the camera uncovered, I'm going to put some tape across the lenses. Actually, I might just take the camera right out. That's what I've done in the past. I found that to be a lot more successful. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the camera out because there's just so much glass all over the place. It's just begging for problems. You notice that I didn't even bother trying to get that apart because the break is just that bad. I can take the safety glasses off for the moment. Now to get the camera out, you need to use a 000 Y-wing screw bit, and it's this shield that you need to get up in order for you to get to the cables underneath. Also, before you take that camera out, you're also going to want to disconnect power. And you know what? Let's take the shield out so we can take this back cover off completely. Alright, that's disconnected. Probably going to get a whole bunch of glass that's going to pull away from this, but that's okay. I'm going to put down a little bead of alcohol just to loosen it up a little bit more. There. Get that battery disconnected. This little guy's hooked in. There is the battery connector right here. Now just keep in mind there is a little bit of adhesive right underneath that little guy right there. So don't expect the whole thing to lift away. Except that one did. That's odd. Usually they're taped down. Alright. So the cameras are a little bit all over the place for their connectors. Two of them are right here. And I think one of them might be up here. I can't remember. The only way to find out is to try taking the camera out. Now I think that is the only two connectors, since there is only two cameras right there. But I might be wrong. I've worked on a lot of 14 Pro Maxes. Yeah, I've had to take cameras out of them, and they always have 3 or 4 ribbon cables. Am I right? I think it's got a bit of glue right here. There. This little piece of glass. Here's a good reason to take out that camera. There's a little chunk of glass down here. Now let's put the camera somewhere safe before I hurt it, because that camera is a little bit on the pricey side. Next, let's get all of that glass out. I'm gonna put my safety glasses back on. Now, this is gonna take a bit. I'm gonna show you a little bit of how to do this, but mostly it's just a lot of prying, a lot of alcohol, and it helps to use a chisel blade. It also can just help to use some precision tweezers. Now, I am using a lot of different pieces of equipment and supplies in this video, and I do have Amazon affiliate links in the video description. I make a small profit off of anything that you buy using those links. So if there's anything in this video that you feel would be of use to you in the process of doing your own repairs, you can find those links there. So before I even start pulling on this, I'm going to start in a section that looks a little bit on the easy side to get through. I'm going to start up where the camera was, and I'm just going to soak it with alcohol. That's going to loosen up the adhesive. Now at this point, I do like to take a little piece of paper towel to spread the little pieces of glass on instead of putting it on my bench, because it's going to be sticky, and it's annoying, and it's nice to be able to smear it on something. But yeah, you see, you just take it and you're just going to swish right underneath the pieces of glass, and you just keep going like that. There's going to be little chunks of glass that you're just not going to come out, and the only way you're going to get them out is by removing the seal. It's going away pretty quick, but that's really all I'm doing. I'm putting down some alcohol, I'm flooding it up, making sure that the adhesive is going to be able to loosen in that section. Then I go in with my tweezers or a chisel blade, and you just scoop underneath. That's one side done so far. So I'm going to finish the rest of this off camera, just because it's a bit of a slog and it's all same old. But once I have that done, I'm going to show you guys how to get the old seal out. It's a combination of using a razor blade sometimes, not always necessary, but also the glue remover tool. It is one of the best tools that I've ever used for getting old adhesive out. It works really well for that, along with using a stiff brush like this as well. These work really well for getting old seals out. Well guys, guess what? Yeah, I'm just tossing this right here in the middle of the video. I wrote a book, Canis Alpha. I didn't write it alone. I actually wrote it with W.K. Greyling, who has published multiple books. And this is my first official ever published book. You can find it on Amazon as well as on Audible. I do have links in the video description if you want to check those out. So here's the trailer that I made for it using various assets that I found all over the place, as well as visual effects and some really neat sound effects as well. Hope you guys like it.
In a future plagued with natural disasters, criminals known as scavs raid damaged cities. Their most important rule: don't help the survivors. When one scav breaks that rule, he changes the world.
Let's get back to the video. Alright, got all that glass out. I've actually dumped some of this off of that little pad there, little piece of paper towel. And I recommend another piece. I just took this, like a sheet of it, and I chopped it up into little squares. It really helps. But it's time to start getting the old adhesive out. And it's simply a matter of choosing a spot to begin, and then just going at it. Looks like I've got it in the wrong direction. I want it to go this way. And every once in a while, you're going to have to pull off the amount that you've gotten onto the tip. You're going to have to do this often with this kind too. It's really gooey. You're going to have to go a little bit on the slow slide if you're wanting to get this out cleanly. You can hear the little crackly bits of glass inside of the adhesive still. There is some that is still in there. I've taken my safety glasses off. But you know what? With that amount of glass crunching around in it, I'm going to put them back on. So for the most part, I've got this cleaned up. There is some remnants here and there that are still in there. What I like to do first is I get a Q-tip, soak it in alcohol, and I'm going to go over the whole thing just one time first. Give it a good scrub with the Q-tip to see if I can get anything out. Now the alcohol type I'm using is 99.9% isopropyl alcohol. You should be using at least 91%. Otherwise you risk damaging the electronics. So as you can see, some came out. Wasn't as good as one would like. So what you go on to next is this little brush. Now, if you can't get it all out, it's not the biggest deal in the world. You just want to get rid of the little bumps and thumps in there. And you can get one of these as well with your back cover. You can purchase them usually from the same site. Or you can look them up and you just put in iPhone 14 back cover seal replacement. So what I do first is I just go in and I soak it. Give it a good soaking. And once you got that alcohol in there, you just scrub it. Just give it a good scrub like this, and it'll get rid of all those glue remnants that are still in there. It does help to soak some of it in advance as well. So while I'm working away on this, I've got this little section here soaking. I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol in here. Don't usually do that, but this stuff is extra sticky. Look at that. It's coming up very nice. Now I should say, if you don't have this brush, once again, don't worry, just do the best you can to get the remaining adhesive out. I have found that sometimes just using the blade here with the paper towel and scraping out as much as I can does help to some degree. I find the brush works a lot better, but if you can use this, great. If you don't even have this, you're starting to get into territory that's not easy to work with, really. You need to get some tools. But as long as you can get that old adhesive out, you'll be good. After I've got this all done, it's all clean. You can see I'm done, basically. You go back to the Q-tip, soak it up with some alcohol. I'm going to give that a good rub. Get out the little pieces of remaining adhesive. That's it. That's clean. It's good to go. I am, at this point, ready to go and put the back glass in place. But before I put the back glass in place, I got to get that screen out. Getting that screen out is a different video. I cannot remember, but I believe I've already done a video about how to do these screen replacements for an iPhone 14. So I'm going to put that to the side. Well, I ran into a bunch of problems with the screen, and it took a lot of sorting, but I finally got it sorted out. For some reason, having the back cover disconnected made the phone boot loop. But I finally got that solved, so we can get back to working on the back glass. So let's do that. I'm gonna shut this phone down. Apologies, I got ahead of myself. This right here is the cable for the back microphone as well as the flash. Now getting this bit up is pretty easy. There's just a little screw that's holding this in, and it slots in on the left side right there. So I've got that out already. There's also this clip that goes over top of this right here. And you've got a clip on the bottom and the top right there. And all you got to do to get it off is just get underneath one of the clips, and then you just hinge it out a little bit, and then you can lift up. It'll come right out. After that, it's just a matter of applying a lot of heat with a heat gun on the back, and you'll get that heated, and you just slowly pry up this cable, getting it all pried up from here, along here as well, and you continue. A little alcohol as well can help a lot, and that's all there is to that bit. And what I'm working on now is getting the rest of this wireless charger out of the back there, and it's just more heating up and getting these little pads up. Now you can get around this if you're a little bit lazy about it, and you can just score it with a razor blade, or even the tweezers can do it. But I prefer to try to salvage as much of the adhesive backing of the wireless charger as possible, just so that it aligns a little bit better and so it sticks together a little bit better. This is completely cooled down, so I gotta heat it up again. But yeah, you can leave this for a good long time on it. Get it good and hot,
So yeah, that's made it a lot easier to get underneath this a little bit here. But if it's not coming up, even after you've applied a lot of heat, there's nothing like putting a little bit of alcohol just along the edge. Like if I was having difficulties there, I could just do a little bit of a dribble just across there, just like that, and it'll peel it up a lot faster. I just don't like always the mess that the alcohol creates, so I don't always use it. Heat works really well when you don't really need to worry about damaging anything. I tore it. This side's kind of failing me. I'm having difficulties getting it to come up properly. Not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a little frustrating when that happens. It's just not going to look as pretty. There it is for that last bit there. Now we should be able to get in behind. It should come out relatively easily. It's glued in somewhat, but not to an extreme degree. Oh, I forgot. You got the magnets. It's glued to the magnets still. Oh, yes. Yeah, this is going to tear. Yeah, well, I tried. There we go. It took some magnets with it. I got to get those magnets off because the new one has those magnets already in place. Didn't come out perfectly off of there, but better than it was. Put it to the side. Now for the new one, I noticed that there's some glass shards on my bench. I'm going to put these to the side. You never know when you might need these. But I got glass, a little bit of glass in the bench there. If you have a bit of packing tape, or even just Scotch tape, it's really good at getting the glass all up off your bench. You just run it across like this. Fix the glass up real easy. Now to get this in place, it's just a matter of lining it up. Sometimes with these magnets, they don't put it in perfectly. And if that's the case, you may need to go and remove one of those magnets. It's not the biggest deal in the world if one magnet is missing, so don't worry about that. I'm just lining it up. You're going to want to line it up here too. I should have lined it up with this first, actually. I'm going to line this up first, just because once this is all in, you're going to have bubbles if you put it in wrong. So this goes in here, just underneath that little bit of a hook of metal. Just like that. Put the screw in. Nice. Next, there is, with this one at least, there's a little bit of adhesive backing that I got to remove. Now I can stick this down. And that's the microphone for the back of the phone. There's this little bit of a gasket that they want this to be put back in place as well, so let's do that. The sticky part is on this side, so I just gotta flip it over. Or maybe it's not this side, it is this. Okay, fine. There we go. Just like that. There's a little bit of a gap that's taken out on the top right and the bottom left. So you just line it with those little posts there for the clips. And then this goes on. And that also just simply clips in place. You hear that nice, satisfying, tiny little click. Let's get this pushed down now. I'm pretty sure of the rest of this. It should all be smooth sailing at this point. And if it isn't, might be something I need to clean up. So you notice there was a bulge. I peeled it back up a little bit, and now I'm pushing it back down. Yeah, a whole piece came off. Now, it's not really the biggest deal in the world for this back, but if need be, I do have some Captain tape on hand. Very, very heat-tolerant tape that is also kind of like electrical tape. It's non-conductive. All I'm using it for in this occasion is simply to stick down some stuff, some areas that are refusing to stick down. For example, right along here. That's not sticking down there, so now it is. And you don't want to go into this area along here. You see this area? This is the back glass. This is the back of the back glass where the paint is that makes it the color that it is. That is where the adhesive is going to be. So you don't want to put anything that it's going to bulk it up further. So this is your absolute furthest line that you can put that tape. Now I'm going to put some over here. This is just a carbon pad as far as I know. It's literally all I'm doing this for is to keep the material down in place. That's all I'm doing this for, is just to keep the material secured to the back of the phone. Sometimes there's a little bit of a bump, and it's the metal coil, the copper coil, that's popped out of place. You can just give it a little bit of a rub and it'll go back into place, but if it's bad enough, you may need to peel the whole thing back up and then just push the final wire back into place. It's hard to explain what that is, but there's an internal coil of wire that's all one solid unit, and on the outside there's a strand of wire that goes around the whole edge. That needs to be in its channel, and if it's not in its channel, it will bulge out sometimes. I should have showed it in advance, but it's kind of hard to show. So we're at the very final stage right here. Let me put in a new seal. These seals can be very finicky sometimes. So here's hoping that it is not. I really hope it's not. It looks like this is a triple layer. So I start from the top. That's how I've always found that it works best. You start from the top, you get it lined up, and then once it's aligned, then you can work your way down. Just like that. Doesn't always work out that easily, but did on this occasion. And I just take some plastic tool just to flatten it out, make sure that it's good and solid in there. I'm just a little bit nervous about this bit here not going in correctly, so I'm peeling it back up a little bit. It's not going over particularly successfully. It's a little bit more flimsy than others of this model of seal that I've worked with in the past. Here we go. And the final layer. This does give us another opportunity just to take a look at things and make sure it's aligned. And if there is some areas that are not aligned properly, you can move them with the tweezers afterwards. Like there's one area of this that I'm a little bit worried about, and that's just down here. So I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Definitely a definitely a tri-level seal. Okay, we have all the protective backing off of that. There's a couple areas that it kind of bumped back up. Now this is the spot that I was a little bit worried about. It came back up slightly. So to get that resolved, you just got to go underneath. You be as delicate as you possibly can with this. And you just pull it back up, and then you're going to squish it back in. Alright, final step here. Let's plug that cable back in. Just double check and make sure there's nothing forgotten up there. I don't think there is. Looks good. It's just a matter getting those shields back in place. Once again, they both have hooks. This one has the hooks on the bottom. I'm going to put it right there like that, let it fold down. Then it's just the one screw. Once again, you got that little hook. It goes in that little spot right there. Just like that. You can see it's kind of bounced up right there. Final screw. And there we have it. It's all done. I'm going to do one more turn. Just turn it on briefly to make sure it's still happy and healthy. Very nice. Now this is an aftermarket screen if you're wondering about that. It's a thick boy. Customer, they pay what they pay, you know. It is what it is. They weren't willing to pay for the more expensive screen, so they got the lower grade screen. It's still not bad. Looks good. I don't see any problems. What I do see is we got smushed clips. There is a clip at the bottom there that's smushed, and this one right here is pushed out a little bit. Just push them back into place. They're not the hardest thing in the world to deal with. That should do it. If you have problems getting the back cover to clip back into place, the first thing that you should always check is those clips. They will cause the phone it just will refuse to clip together comfortably. So yeah, I just want to do a final test with this phone. I've got the general settings open. It was not exactly boot looping, it was randomly restarting, so I just want to make sure that it's absolutely good and solid. I'm just going to flip this over. You just start off from the top, make sure it's all well aligned. I'm going to do one more check. Did I forget anything? Is there anything on the board aside those pentalobe screws missing? No? Good. Start off from the top, and then you can push it into place. Nice. Now it's time to get those pentalobe screws in. Still have it plugged in, but here we have it. It's got some fingerprints on it. I can get that off. Yeah. Turned out wonderfully. Look at that. So that is how you do a back cover replacement on an iPhone 14. So if you guys like the video, please do leave a like, and if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys all in another video. Bye.